Hey Saturn guys and girls, this is Dave from SEGA Saturn SHIRO. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of a game that I've been playing. Mentioned it on the most recent podcast. This is Drift King 97 Shutokou Battle. This is a Genki developed game that predates the Tokyo Xtreme Racer games that you might be familiar with on the SEGA Dreamcast. The only difference really is that this was like getting its roots, and it really did push like the drift thing heavily, and of course it was endorsed by this guy, the Drift King. I don't actually know his real name, or I haven't memorized his real name, but he was pretty famous. Did a bunch of like, showboating clinics and just. Oh, he's good. Look at that. He was like one of the most famous like drift racers in the mid-90s. Probably still is in Japan. And then this guy over here under the car, that's Bondo, which is an ironic name for a guy who fixes cars, Bondo. But he was like, they were like a team, like a super team in the 90s, and he would do all the modding and fixing up with the cars, and then Drift King here would race the cars and put on these like spectacles. Anyway, I'm gonna get right into the gameplay here. So you've got your configuration menu, practice, which is self-explanatory. You can play versus the computer, and then your scenario, which is obvious. So I mean, this is an pretty much English-friendly game. The only thing I will say is once you get into the scenario and you load it up. So he likes to come and talk mid-sequence. Racing driver. Nice. He thinks he's the shit, that's for sure. Well, he was the shit. So this guy down here, this is Bondo right here. He's the tuner or whatever. So you can load your game. That's all English friendly. You can pretty much figure out what you're supposed to do here to load your game. Yeah, I want to load the backup. And you exit out of here, and you're greeted with this menu, and most of the stuff is in English, so that's cool. Car select, your course select, Bondo. That's going to be your, you wouldn't have known maybe, but that's where you're going to tune your vehicle and do all that kind of stuff. Key assignments are pretty easy. That's pretty English friendly. Get out of there. Oh, it also says right here you can press the X button to drift, but you can also do braking drift, where you kind of tap the brake and then oversteer, and you'll enter a drift that way as well. If you go to Bondo, this is really where there's some difficulty understanding with the language. So over here on all the upgrades, I recommend you go to GameFAQs or something like that to get a guide, and read through what you got to do to, I've already started experimenting based on price, but I really don't know what these things are. There's a few things that are easy to understand, like for example, this electronics right here, that's like an ECM chip, or a ROM chip, it says right there, ROM. So I know that's like the most expensive like chip tuning that you can do on the car. And you can kind of go by price, but then some of these things here, like high, low, high, low, high, I don't know what's going to be. Obviously these are for automatic transmission, so, and this is manual. Okay, so anyway, there's a little bit of trying to figure out the Japanese on this, but for the most part, you come over here to setting, and that's how you can apply the settings of the tunings that you've purchased. Okay, so I'm gonna come up to parts here, and on my last race I got 32,000 points, so I'm probably gonna upgrade my exhaust. Let's go with the most expensive exhaust. So you purchase it, now my points just went down. I go out to setting, and I can go ahead and apply that exhaust to my vehicle and then exit. Okay, so the course select is pretty simple. At this point in the game, you only have 3 courses to choose from. I believe that goes up the more courses that you win, but basically you're just racing freeway circuits here. And I'm going to start with this 2-lap circuit. That's the one that I've been running. That's the one that I've been kind of getting used to. So I'm going to select that course. And then over here in car select, you've got, it says Type RS, but this is basically, it's like a Toyota Spider, Toyota MR2 kind of thing. But you can also choose like a Trueno, Toyota AE86 kind of deal. And then you've got like a Honda Civic to start out with, like a hatchback Civic. I'm going with the, I'm just going with the MR2. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start here. And so this is your rival down here that's gonna, I don't know, he's taunting you in Japanese. My Japanese is rusty, so I don't know what that's saying, but you could get a script. Anyway, I'm gonna get right on into a race here. I'm gonna show you, there's a couple ways you can do this. The control on this game is actually pretty good. And yeah, I'm in automatic right now, so I don't have to worry about the shifting and drifting at the same time. So that guy just raced ahead of me, and I'm supposed to obviously catch up to him and pass him up. And now this is how you enter a drift right there. And you can hold a drift actually pretty well in this game. The controls are actually pretty good. But you do end up slamming into the back of a bus every now and again. And that can be troublesome. Now, here's what I find. I find that if you wanted to just go around these corners without drifting, you totally can. And in most cases, the car is actually easier to control that way. However, you lose the guy quicker that way. By drifting, there's almost like a rubber banding effect that allows you to catch up with the car, with your rival, quicker. So I think the more you drift, the more, I guess you could say, points you get for that. The more they kind of like rubber band him to you so that you have a chance to catch up, because they want you to drift. And here I am, I've caught up with him. That exhaust is helping me out. Oh, that's another thing. Starting out with this game, you cannot catch up to the rival. You have to like race this track a couple of times, earn points, tune your vehicle, and then you are able to catch up, or at least have a chance of catching up. And as you can see, I'm not doing very well at that, but I'm still having fun. This is incredibly reminiscent of the Tokyo Xtreme Racer games, because it basically is. And now, Wangan Dead Heat is another game we would have localized as Highway 2000 in the States and in PAL territories. That was also kind of like a, I guess you could say it was like an offshoot of this series, the Highway Battle series. See, this is a braking drift right here. That's not using the actual drift button. So there's two ways that you can drift in this game. There's like a dummy drift button where literally it'll just, you press the button and it will start a drift. Or you can actually do like a braking drift where you basically kick out the back tires yourself by braking. And the only reason I'm doing that actually is because you can't change the drift button from X, so it's like way over. It's way over there, and I can't reach it, not comfortably. So. Wow. Whoa. Okay. See, so I mean, I'm probably going to be running this track a few times, trying to upgrade my vehicle before I can actually get to a point where I'm able to catch up with this guy, because he's really fast. But that's kind of the way that it was in Tokyo Xtreme Racer, if I remember correctly. You kind of had to work at it for a while until, you know, they didn't want you to just come out the gate and be dominant. So, but man, he's fast. He's like way ahead of me. But as you can see, I mean, I'm a little okay at racing games, but I mean, this isn't that hard to control, and it's a lot of fun. This is another one of those games that I burned a copy a long time ago, popped it in and was just like not blown away by the graphics compared to like other stuff like, you know, Sega first party titles like Sega Rally and I don't know. It's rough when you kind of compare. Some of these Japanese racing games are very specific, like they're based on a very specific niche, you know, culture in Japan. You know, in this case, like the drifting and illegal highway racing, which is actually had quite the crackdown in Japan over the last decade. They're policing it so much more on that Bay circuit. Okay, that was weird. I didn't see my Saturn do that before, that flickering thing. So another thing is this game doesn't just take place at night. There are also day courses as well. It's just that this specific track that I keep racing, it's just at night for now. What else can I say? Graphically, you know, it's not. There are a lot worse looking racing games on the Saturn, and a lot worse controlling games on the Saturn. So, you know, after I get a little bit of time with this, I am going to try to. I'm going to try to create a new vehicle and try manual as well, because now that I feel comfortable with the drifting mechanic, I'm going to try to do the drifting and the manual shifting as well, because that might actually give me an edge. Especially every time you hit something, accelerating back up to speed is tough, so manual might help with that. Yeah, oversteer is kind of the tough thing with drifting. You either, well, that's always the tough thing with drifting, even in real life. But in this game, it definitely is tough to kind of hold that drift perfectly and not bang into the walls or bang into somebody else. I like the AI of the trucks and the cars because they really do try to like run you off the road, which is annoying for sure, but it also gives challenge, you know, provides challenge. So that's a good thing. They're not just dumb, you know. They're not just there as a part of the scenery. They actually do provide challenge to the game, and that's. Oh. Okay, so now we're greeted with the like post-battle screen, and I'm sure he's telling me I'm a loser or something like that. But anyway, so you can see my total time was 6 minutes 1 second, and he was 5 minutes 58 seconds. So yeah, he beat me by like 3 or 4 seconds. 16% drift. I was able to do 16% drift. I've gotten it up to like 25% at my best. And then, and he's got 27% drift, but we're both averaging the same speed. So that's cool. All right, so regardless of winning or losing, you still win points, which is good, because that's how you're gonna upgrade your vehicle in the shop. And then this guy comes back. I just skipped through because I don't understand what he's saying anyway, but it's cool that they added it in there. Alrighty, so yeah, I do want to save, yes. And it asks if you want to overwrite your game. We go to Bondo. We're going to Bondo our car here. Alright, so now I've got 22,000 points that I just won from that race. Or that it, added to what I had before. It equaled 22,000. So, engine mods. So I kind of already bought an engine over here. Based on price, I have no idea what I bought. So I have no idea what that says. My Japanese is so rusty. But for now, I'm gonna save up points. So I've got the best intake that I can get. I've got a nice, decent exhaust. Well, I got the most expensive exhaust that I can get. Suspension. I bought a limited slip differential, which seems to be working for me right now. Tires. I'm actually not sure. Imagine the S stands for like sport. It's tough. This is the area where I'm definitely gonna have to get my ass over on GameFAQs and look up what these are. Or I could use a translator with my phone, but I have to figure out what these are before I'm just gonna go spending money. Tires. One way to do it is just buy the most expensive thing, but that's not always necessarily a good thing. Now I only have, as far as my transmission goes, I only have a 4-speed transmission right now, so it might help actually to get a 5-speed transmission. I might be able to go faster. But I don't know if that's a 5-speed manual. I don't know. Automatic. I might save up for one of these automatic transmissions. And aerodynamics. Let's just buy the most expensive aerodynamics. Let's see. Electronics. Did I not? Oh, I can't afford that ROM now. Darn it. Alright, well, let's go exit. Okay, I'm gonna run that course one more time. See if these aerodynamics help me out at all. I'm not gonna make this a super long video. Probably after I run this course one more time, we're gonna end it there. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys this game. See what you guys think about it. Honestly. Now that I've given it a second look, I actually quite like it. And the drifting is actually kind of fun. At first it was kind of frustrating, but now I consider it part of the challenge to kind of hold that drift and avoid traffic. I don't know if this would be Simon's cup of tea, some of you guys who really do love the classic first-party SEGA titles. I'm not sure if this would really do it for you, but give it a shot because, there's a lot of there's a lot of import racers, and they're not all created equal. Some of them are pretty rough, some of them are, just kind of sloppy. That's the thing is some of the, oh man, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, some of them I feel are sloppier than others, but Genki, I always really loved the Tokyo Xtreme Racing series and the Kaido Battle series, and so yeah, I'm actually impressed with this one. And Patrick, if you happen to be watching this, I think you might like this too. It sure beats, God, what was it, that game that Patrick reviewed? Initial D. There was a game, the Toge game, based on downhill drifting, and they really got it. They got it wrong. They just did not capture a realistic drift mechanic at all. Yeah, so the drifting in this game feels, I guess you could say it feels a little bit more esoteric, or I don't know, like it feels a little bit more complex versus, say, SEGA Rally, which I always talk about how good the drifting in SEGA Rally feels. But also, the drifting in SEGA Rally also feels very arcadey, and it's almost like it almost just happens naturally because you know you're on asphalt and then you hit gravel and you just start drifting, you know. Whereas this, you really kind of have to like initiate the drift by braking, and so it's a little more contrived maybe because that's, you know, some would say that drifting is kind of completely unnecessary in a high-speed race, you know. It's kind of just a thing that you can do to impress your girlfriend or something. I don't know. I'm not Japanese, but oh man, let's see here if I can even catch him up. So if you'll see in the top right-hand corner, there is a map, and it looks like I've kind of lost him. So there's my checkpoint right there, final lap. And now I've got quite a bit of ground to make up because I'm talking too much and not racing. Ah, damn it. See? So here's the thing. I could take every turn like this. I could take every turn just by gripping through the turn and just not drifting. But I would not, I'm telling you honestly, I would not do it any better because he'll just get away from you if you don't drift. This game like makes it obligatory to drift, you know. It requires you to drift, so you kind of have to if you actually want to catch up with your opponent and you want to get like a lot of points so you can tune your car. So it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's the point of the game, so might as well just go along with it. Gotta hold that drift, and then like you gotta come out of it. That's the other thing. Coming out of the drift is just as hard as holding the drift. So, needless to say, I'm no expert at this game. I'm just kind of showing it off to you guys because I wanted you to. I haven't done one of these videos in a hell of a long time. I haven't had time to do it, really. Just kind of wanted to show you guys this game because I think it's kind of fun. There he is. He's like a couple pixels on my screen. How cute. Just a couple little pixels. Let's see if I can make him lots of pixels. See, you can see my like top speed here is 180. That's going to be my limiting factor. Is, you know, we're both going 180, so there's no way that I can really overtake him. I got to be like perfect on these turns in order to overtake him, and that's not happening. You see, because I keep mashing into these assholes on the road. How annoying is that? Anyway, so I do need to continue to run these races, tune my car up so I can get it over 180. So I can actually overtake this guy on the straightaways because I ain't getting him in the corners. I can just see him going around and you really do have to like hold that drift. Like you have to, while you're drifting, you have to press left and right to kind of like hold the drift and make sure you stay right in the middle of the drift. You don't want to oversteer or understeer too much. So I like that. Actually involves some kind of skill. Oh, this guy's gonna try to cut me off. That's it. One thing that AI will do is those trucks, they'll come across the road and just try to like mow you down. Oh man. Tried to drift there at the end. So let's see how bad I did. You have shamed your whole family. I don't know. You are a disgrace. So I did 18% drifting and he did 28, so 28% drifting. Again, he's like, okay, this time he's like 2 seconds faster than me. 2 or 3 seconds faster than me. But my second lap was quicker than his, so if you look at the top there, so that's cool. So let's see how many points I get. 2600. So I could buy that ECM tuning, you know, that chip. And there's that guy again, telling you. I mean, I'm sure he's probably telling me something valuable. You know, that's the other thing too, is he's probably giving me some advice. I just don't understand it. Overwrite the game, exit out. Okay, so let's go here, settings, go down to these electronics here. Ooh. Oh, not settings, sorry, parts. There we go. Electronics. Yeah, I'm gonna buy this like super expensive ROM chip and tune up my car. There you go. Now I have like no money. I have 4,000. I don't think I can afford anything of value for $4,000. No. Others. You know, whatever others are. I don't know what this is. Alright. Out of there. So... I hope it lets me save what I just did. Let me just see if it saved what I just did. Parts. Oh yeah, so I have 4,000. Because that's the thing, you have to go out to the main menu and then get back in to be able to save the tuning that you just put on the car. Like if you want to stop here, it gives you an option to save your game after every race. So it saves your game with the points you just earned. But if you apply a tuning and leave and turn off the system, that tuning won't be saved. So you have to tune and get out to the main menu, come back in, save, and then your tuning is saved and you can turn off the system. Or you can run through the race with that tuning and then save your game. So anyway guys, I'm just gonna end the video here. It's a fun game, check it out. This is Drift King 97 Shutokou battle, and it's a cheap game. You can get it for 20 bucks or less imported. You might be able to get it for a much better deal than that, but I'm just saying, you know, at 20 bucks or less, shipped from Japan, it's not an expensive game. I highly recommend it. Anyway, until next time, this has been Dave from Sega Saturn SHIRO, and you guys must play your Sega Saturn.